And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen who watch this show. We are on day 4 of the show. I am going to move these podcasts to Sports, the Syndicate Sports Detroit. I just rearranged the name just a little bit. So that will be what these will go on that channel beginning Monday. Look for a community post to be out on Detroit Lions Syndicate and the Gridiron Blitz so we can decide on a time. The goal is to do it maybe an hour show or something like that. But we are day 4, man. This today almost didn't happen. Today's a busy day. Got some Thursday night football tonight. Got some runs I need to make. But we're going to do this thing. Our target time is a half hour, and we are going to shoot for that. What's up, Zay? What's up, man? Says source, Commanders cornerback William Jackson, the third, is unhappy with playing zone in Washington and prefers to go to a team that plays man-to-man, which he is most comfortable with. Could he be an addition? That's a good question. What's up, bro? Look, I've been seeing you on Instagram, man. Good to see you, my friend. But let's do this first. Let's get our ad out the way. If you want to be a part of something special, the Sports Syndicate brand, we are developing channels. We are going to take on Chat Sports. We're going to take on Woodward Sports. We're going to take on Locked On. If you want to be a part of that, email sportssyndicatebrand@yahoo.com. There you can email me and we can connect if you want to be a part of that. We're going to be doing more ads and things like that throughout these shows. But again, these shows will move to Syndicate Sports Detroit beginning on Monday. And we'll have those shows. We'll have segments and stuff like that. It's a work in progress, something I've always wanted to do. I don't really care about numbers with this. It's just been a dream of mine. So we're going to talk about a couple of things today, some stuff I saw on the internet, but shout out to my guy, the Dern. And we got to talk about Mr. Hutchinson. Mr. Hutchinson, Aiden Hutchinson, that is, not the dad, of course, the second overall pick in last year's draft. Now, I got to pull up Trayvon Walker's stats because I need to compare the two. I should have done that before I started. But do you think that Aiden Hutchinson is getting enough criticism? Because I myself was very hard on Jeff Okudah, third overall pick. The corner takes a lot more time to learn. He's in his third year, and this is when he was supposed to come into his own. And with Aiden Hutchinson, are we being a little biased? Are we being a little unfair to Okudah and not criticizing Aiden Hutchinson as much? Now, for me, what's up, Jake? For me, I do see where you could come down on Aiden Hutchinson. But to me, I think that it can be a little bit unfair. There are people who didn't like Okudah. It was weird, man. I didn't hear a lot of stuff on whether people liked Okudah or not. He came out with Isaiah Simmons, and a lot of Detroit Lions fans wanted Isaiah Simmons to be the pick. He was not. We picked Jeff Okudah. Rumors came out that Derek Brown was Matt Patricia's pick, and I believe that because we wind up getting Everson Griffin later that year. And that Jeff Okudah was Bob Quinn's pick. So the GM and the head coach were not on the same page, right? So when it comes to Aiden Hutchinson, I think he was always going to be the pick. But you take Jeff Okudah, you throw him out there. I think that we can be a little unfair when it comes to Aiden Hutchinson. I've heard a lot of criticism on Twitter. I think he's been good in the run game, lack of pass rush moves, and no help on the D-line. And he's played 95% of defensive snaps last week. What's up, Dave? What's up, James? What's going on, fellas? And that's it. He said certainly doesn't help. Walker and Thibodeau haven't done anything. Well, Nick, Thibodeau to me, bro, I'm so glad we avoided him because if you watch Kayvon Thibodeau play, what was the one thing that we said leading up to the draft? Kayvon Thibodeau does not finish plays. And I've watched him, and he does not finish. He looks like he is pure. If you come at him, fine. If he has to go after you, he's not going to do it. So I think, honestly, the criticism is justified, but is it being unfair? Are we leaning too much because Aiden Hutchinson was supposed to be Nick Bosa? He was supposed to be Chase Young. Now, Hutch isn't, I don't think he's as big as both them guys, but Hutch he's like a skinny big. Dude is 265 pounds. He's 265 pounds. D. Reese says, I believe Okudah's was always unfair to me because of the injuries on top of him being young, a young, fresh guy. He was faced with a lot so early, and I didn't agree with it from the start. Well, see, D. Reese, that's the thing, bro. Whether you agree with it or not, he was drafted third overall. And just like Aiden Hutchinson, he was drafted second overall. If you're drafted first overall, like we discussed earlier this week, what makes you a bust? You're not a bust in the second round. You're not a bust in the third round. You're a gem. You only get the label bust, if you're a first round pick. If you're a top 5, top 10, you're going to be labeled a bust. You're going to be criticized under a magnifying glass. If somebody in the third round is outperforming the second overall pick, you are going to get unfair criticism. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Zay says he needs to stop over pursuing and add a move or two. Well, I think that's always been the thing. We knew his pass rush moves were limited. I think he'll develop more as he develops in this league. I really do. Hutchinson is getting to the QB, but just has to finish. He's a rookie. We need to give him time to develop. See, I agree wholeheartedly. And even with Jeff Okudah, okay, I wasn't fond of the pick, Jeff Okudah, not the player, Jeff Okudah. My thing is, and it comes out, I heard yesterday that, remember that Okudah was the last draft from Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. This was the last draft, right? So these guys, I think Patricia wanted to win, and he wanted Derek Brown because he traded for Everson Griffin later. Everson Griffin was a Hail Mary, a half-court shot to try to save their job, and it didn't work. Okudah is basically a rookie. He's only played 15 games. Well, you know what, Nick? That could be true, bro. He was 10 games in before the season started. He's played every game this year. And whether or not he's only played 15 games, he was drafted third overall. So I think if you're drafted high, you're going to get criticism. Whether it's unfair or fair, you are going to get criticism, right? Kyler Murray, Nick Bosa. If you're studying, like Chase Young has been hurt, but nobody's really coming at him like they're coming at Hutch. To me, it's almost like people want, just like with Jeff Okudah, D. Reese, people wanted to talk negatively about Jeff Okudah. D. Reese says, to me, I don't care where a guy is drafted. It's all about how fast you can adapt. While staying Hutch, on the other hand, I feel like the same exact amount. Rick, what's up, man? Says, I hang around, but not going to say anything. Don't know much about the Lions this year. Yep, it ain't much to know, bro, except they're underperforming big time. Nobody gave him time to be the player he is now. People in Detroit immediately look at Okudah as the piece to get the defense to a playoff type of defense. I didn't watch. It's why I never changed my... Bro, I don't know who thought the Okudah was going to get the Lions to a playoff defense. We haven't had a playoff defense since 2014. So I don't know who was saying that. Dave says, I was worried about the ad. Now, don't be worried about the ad. Wait, my ad? Okudah, third highest paid on the team. Yeah, we're going to talk about explosive plays, too, that I saw on Twitter, something that's going to shock y'all. But let me just say this real quick. As this show grows, man, we're going to have segments. We're going to have phone calls. We're going to bring in guests. Hopefully, I got to scour the internet for people to, other Lions creators and sports creators. We're hoping to have a Pistons talk as well. I am not probably going to do that. I have not been in love with the Pistons in over 15 years. They have to win. I literally fell out of love with the Detroit Pistons when Chauncey, Rip, and all them was fading away. And back in 2008, I just fell out of love with them, man. Now they're a pain to watch. I came from the Joe Dumars, Jerry Stackhouse, Grant Hills, when he was the tight shorts to him retiring, watching Isaiah finish. So I'm almost like the old school dude, man. And this new basketball I don't know, man. It feel like it ain't for me. Playoff basketball is fantastic, but we'll see if I can get, sucked back into that. I love my team. I want to see them win, but to be invested in them, man, I don't know. I don't know. I just fell out of love with them. Zay says, I think another thing is not every pass rusher is great on the right scene. Not everyone is a Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa are specimens. Chase Young even. But Myles Garrett is a big dude, man. Big dude. And we haven't looked at, I know coming into week 2, I tried to find it before I went live. How much was Hutchinson getting blocked Like, how much was he getting double teamed leading up into the 5th game? Now people aren't calling Okudah a bust now. Well, listen. I always said, D, that he needed this year, and I'm not gonna not label him a bust. I'm not gonna do that. Just like if Hutch is in year 3 and he's averaging 5 sacks a game, then that's gonna be bust territory. Well, you also didn't type right, brother. Says you misread me. I said Lions fans thought he was going to be a piece to solidify the back of our defense, and I never understood why people put so much on his shoulders so early. D. Reese, it's easy, man. It's easy. This is a game of where you were drafted and what you can do, right? Malcolm Rodriguez is standing out because he was drafted in the 6th round. That I don't know why we can't see that. If you're picked in number 3 overall and you're being outperformed by somebody picked number 62, the people are going to look at that as a problem. One of the reasons Tom Brady is considered the GOAT is where he was drafted. 100%. Peyton Manning was drafted number 1. Peyton Manning had a horrendous record his first year and then did Peyton Manning things. So Peyton Manning lived up to his potential. If you surpass what your potential is considered to be, you are going to stand out more. Right? So that's what I'm saying. So if you were drafted, the reason Ryan Leaf is such a colossal failure, Jamarcus Russell, is because where they were drafted. If he was drafted in the 7th round, nobody would even mention his name. We don't even know who can anyone name off the top of their head Mr. Irrelevant 2022. You can't. I understand what you're saying, D. Reese, and I think it's a valid point. But if you were taken 2nd overall, 3rd overall, 10th overall, Sauce Gardner, people are performing, right? And if you were taking that high, that says that you were better, scouted better than 250-something other people, right? Just like we were trying to figure out Trayvon Walker. Like, what did they see? How this guy went from a top 15 pick all the way up to number 1, right? So I don't think criticism of Jeff Okudah is unfair. I don't think that, right? So if you do or anyone else does, that's fine. The Aiden Hutchinson thing, to call anybody a bust in year 1, it's tough. It really is. Year 2, year 3, and everybody, the thing about Jeff Okudah, the comparison, Jeff Okudah, cornerback is the hardest in the league. It takes 3 years to develop. So 3 years was the time that he has to show for himself. Deary says, no, that Jeff is trending up. I don't hear people in Detroit calling him a bust now, which is why it was always unfair. It's unfair to Aiden as well. Well, I think the bust label, D. Reese, is thrown around. It's just thrown around. You're a bust. If you don't come in and absolute dominate, and even if he did, if he dominated, like in game 2, he literally dominated, and by game 4, he's a bust. Right? Aiden Hutchinson is a bust in game 4 because he didn't continue on that. Now, let me remind you, Chase Young, defensive rookie of the year, 7.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 3 recovered fumbles. Nick Bosa, 9.5 sacks, or 9. Okay? Aiden has 12 more games. If Aiden gets 6-7 sacks in year 1, I know when he got drafted, everyone said that Aiden Hutchinson should have 12 sacks. That's more than Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa is a stud. I don't know, Myles Garrett. Let's see what Myles Garrett had in year 1, unless anybody know off the top of their head. How many sacks did Myles Garrett have his rookie year? Myles Garrett stats. Let's see. And I think Detroit Lions fans, as you can see, we have zero patience, y'all. We have no patience at all. Okay, so Myles Garrett's rookie year. Thank you. I was just about to say that, Nick. Listen to this. Let's look at this, y'all. Myles Garrett, rookie year, he had 31 tackles. He had 7 sacks his rookie season. Aiden Hutchinson is halfway there. And Myles Garrett, he was picked number 1. The next year, 13 and a half. His third year, 10. His fourth year. Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. His fourth year, 12. His fifth year, 16. Where is Myles Garrett at right now? The Myles Garrett. How many sacks does the Myles Garrett, first overall pick in 2017, have right now? Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson have the same amount of sacks. Myles Garrett is in year 6. Hutch is in year 1. D-Reese says that's a fact. DB is so hard to be good at it, bro. I like Okudah and Aiden. I think they won't be Pro Bowlers, but they'll be very good starters in this league. Well, you know what, D-Reese? The Pro Bowl don't shine too well on Detroit. And I'm glad they got rid of the game. All it's ever been was a fan, fans anyway. What's up, Knowledge? What's going on? Myles Garrett missed the game, though, I believe. Zay, you know what? Yeah, he did. He did. Aiden Hutchinson was hurt the third and fourth game. He did miss a game. Car crash. Myles Garrett is coming off injuries. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Perfect. Myles Garrett is. You see how we doing? Okay, he was in a car crash. I get it. But let's talk about year 1. He had 7 sacks. Year 1. Jim says, I'm not worried about Hutch at all. I'm not worried either. I'm not worried about Hutchinson at all. But just like now, the Detroit Lions fans, we want now. As I said in 2 streams ago, patience is something that we don't have. We do not have patience when it comes to the Detroit Lions, and I don't think they've earned it. But so I think that the criticism on Jeff Okudah and Aiden Hutchinson is unfair, but I think at the same time, it's like Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell took a job that he knew was going to come with a lot of smoke, right? And that's what happens. If you are the second overall pick, you're going to have a lot of smoke. And let's see what Trayvon Walker is at right now, because I want to know, because he had a stellar first game, and I don't know what he's done since. Trayvon Walker currently, well. Would you look at that? Trayvon Walker has 1 sack. He has 1 sack. Now, I don't know what Sauce Gardner is doing and these other defensive players, but Trayvon Walker has 1 sack. I don't hear anybody talking about him. He got a sack in his first game against the same quarterback that Aiden Hutchinson got a sack against. And guess what? Carson Wentz holds the ball longer than any other quarterback in the National Football League. So while Trayvon Walker, the first overall pick, he gets 1 sack. Aiden eats 3 times. The brother could have had 5. Let's be real. And let's not take let's take away the one that Charles Harris had. Aiden Hutchinson will be fine. He will learn. He will grow. He will be taught from people who've done it before him, from the coaches, and he will be something. I think Hutch will put on more muscle in the offseason. What's up, Zay? Appreciate that, bro. Did not have to do that. Says, I believe all the edges have been mid so far. The corners have been good from this class. Yeah, man. Sauce Gardner doing his thing. John Doe says, do you believe we still go into the playoffs? As of right now, John, I got to be honest with you, bro. It's a game I play with myself every year. Do I believe we're going? No. Because if we lose the next 2, it's getting less and less likely. However, because I am a man of math, I am a man of numbers, I will always go by the numbers. And the number says that the Detroit Lions are not mathematically eliminated. So therefore, that's how I survive every season. I survive all of my seasons by hoping and putting things together. Last year, I made a video. Laughable, right? The Detroit Lions had a 1-1. Wait a minute. because it was ridiculous. They had a 1 in 800 billion chance to make the playoffs. You were more likely to get struck by lightning twice than to making the playoffs. So to answer your question, no, because they have to win. And I'm not picking them again this season. The next time I pick the Lions, they'll be at 500. I can't pick them anymore. D. says, Jim says Lions have to win 9 to 12 to go to the playoffs. You know what, Jim? That's where I had them. I had them at 9 and 8. And there's a steal, but I tell you what, like I said in yesterday's video, the Detroit Lions, the next 4 games make or break the season. If they go 2-2 and they go 3-6 coming out of the game against the Green Bay Packers, which will be at home, they got a fair shot. Winning the division is pretty much over. Minnesota is going to come down between Minnesota and Green Bay. If you're watching tonight, you are hoping for a Washington Commanders win. A Washington Commanders win helps the Detroit Lions. We beat them, so we own the tiebreaker, and the Bears are in our division. Deary says, Derek, do you remember how high I was on Jordan Davis? That dude is eating up blocks, and his teammates are eating off just his presence in the middle. You know what, D. I sure do. I remember that. But we took Josh Pascal, who will be back. All right. Now, let's do this. Let's pivot a little bit. I seen Ajabo is starting to practice. Wish we would have got him to in the second round. Yeah, it's a lot of wish. Yeah, okay, listen. Let me just say this, Sugar Knot, before you start with the playoffs and all that. I just explained to you how my mind works. My mind is all about numbers. And right now, the Detroit Lions are nowhere near out of it. They keep losing, they will be. They go 1-7, 1-8, then it's pretty much a wrap. But if they don't go at least 2-2 in these next 4 games, I'm going by the numbers, bro. And the numbers say until they're out, they're not. And that's how I function during these seasons. It's how I get through these seasons. People are already talking about the draft. I'm not doing it. Because guess what? Let me break this down for y'all. Starting January the 12th, 2023, for the next 3.5 months, all we're going to do is talk about the draft. After we draft, we're going to talk about the preseason. Football dries up in June with mini camp and all that stuff. And July is like the Sahara Desert. And then August comes, and here we go again. We have 5 months of football, 4 if you're a Detroit Lions fan, 4 actually regular season games, 1 playoff month, and then 7 months without football. I refuse to go to the draft. It's not happening, bro. So that's why I stay in the moment. I stay in the week. Are we getting back 7 to 10 players after week 7? Are we? I don't know if I counted that high, Vish. We beat Dallas and Miami. They're back in. Absolutely. Not to mention Green Bay, Nick. They need a win against Green Bay. And I think we play Chicago after Green Bay. We got 2 division games, if I'm not mistaken. That's why I said if we can go, I think it's Dallas, Miami at home, Green Bay at home, and then Chicago on the road. So if we can go 3-5, then we back in it. Trust me, the NFC is whack. It is wide open. Wide open. What's up, Derek? Says Okudah was drafted too high, could have had offensive linemen to take the place of Tomlinson. Yeah. Our defense would probably be much better had we took Jordan and Hutch in the first round. Yep. If we took anybody at this point, D. Reese, and you know I done made about 80 videos on Jameson Williams, but the brother can't help on defense. What's up, Mac? J-Mo wants to come back after the bye. Well, good for him. But guess what, Nick? They're not letting him come back. He was eligible to play, I want to say the 9th. He could have played last Sunday. I don't know what's going on with Kaminsky. I have no idea. But let's pivot real quick. I'm a guy who needs to live in the moment, man. Life is too short. I don't live my life in the moment, but when it comes to football, I live in the moment because I cannot deal with, I need to mail this tweet to myself. I just can't deal with fast forwarding to the draft. I just can't, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I hope you understand. But I want y'all to see this, but you might not be able to. All right. The Detroit Lions, y'all ready? Are third in explosive plays. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think these are from 10 down. Number 10, the Denver Broncos. Number 9, the Atlanta Falcons. Number 8, the Chicago Bears. Number 7, the New England Patriots. Number 6, the Buffalo Bills. That's right. We lead the Buffalo Bills. Number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. Number 4, the Green Bay Packers. Number 2, the Cleveland Browns. And number 1, the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. The Detroit Lions have rushes of 10 plus yards or more. They have 20. Receptions of 20 plus yards or more, 23, for a total of 43 big plays. So a big / explosive play is a play that is longer than 20 yards. That's including DeAndre Swift's kind of screen pass run, and that's including Jamal Williams' 68-yard touchdown. Yes, Kaminsky had thumb surgery. I don't think they ever put him on IR, though. What's up, Mr. Poole? So what I'm going to do, just to kind of go off the rails a little bit, back to the beginning, I am going to put out a community post on when you want these to happen. It'll probably be an hour-long show. We'll take phone calls. We'll try to bring segments in, have other people show up, stuff like that, right? I just need to know, what time are y'all thinking? Morning, late morning, afternoon, late afternoon, something like that. Got shut out and still have a top 3 offense. Absolutely. Williams says, if we had Hutch and Jordan Davis, our defense wouldn't be god awful. It wouldn't make a trade to Carolina of their 2 young players. I would trade Swift, Hawk, and a first. For who? Matthew says, looks like all bad money will be mostly off the books at the end of 2023. Could see us spending for good free agents then. So, Matt, you're talking about the year that we go in with the draft, right? Hosting the draft. But let's get back to these explosive plays. The Detroit Lions have a 1-4 record and are third in scoring offense and third in big plays through week 5. And they didn't even score in week 5. Not only could they have the number 1 offense had they put up some points, if they got 2 big plays, which they were known to do, they would be number 1. Knowledge says, I'm literally taking these games 1 week at a time. We have to take 1 step forward after the bye. Knowledge, that's facts. And like I said before you got here, I'm not picking them again. The Lions need to be at 500 before I pick them again. That's against the Bears, but because easily the Lions should be 4-1. Yes, D. Reese, listen, this is the point, bro. Like I said, if you're just now joining us, I am doing the plan for me. I'm a one-man show right now. I got Troxel. He's probably going to join, talking some Pistons. I've started another channel. It's called Syndicate Sports Detroit. It will be in the vein of what I've always wanted to do, but I'm always crowded by analytics and numbers. Okay? I refuse to have Woodward Sports for them to dominate this. This is supposed to be our space. We were here first. We should have this space. And ego and all that stuff gets in the way. People break up. Things are not formed. This is what I've always wanted to do. Talk about my team every day. Open up phone lines. So, yes, D. Reese, to answer your question, no disrespect to Woodward. They doing their thing. But it's time for me to do mine. So, Syndicate Sports Detroit, make sure you guys check it out. I'm going to try to get content creators to join, talk Pistons, Red Wings, Tigers, Michigan football, Michigan State. Whatever y'all want, I'm trying to get. All right? So look forward to that. Make sure y'all subscribe to the new channel. Monday, these are going on there. Okay? Okay. Hey, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, man. Doesn't matter. Denzel says, do you think we make a trade by the deadline? You know, I don't know. I don't know. But let's do this. Let's go and let's talk about something real quick. that it's kind of, it's sad because 2 years ago, and I wanted to make sure I brought this up today. 2 years ago, this man was on my list. I wanted him so bad. I talked to Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia said he wanted him too. Matt Patricia takes a Hail Mary, signs, trades for Everson Griffin. Now I gotta put this out here first. Everson Griffin can still play, but something is wrong in the head. That's why he's still out there now. And as much as I love EG and his story, and he played for my team, he is probably super cheap. But I think that we don't know where his head is at. So we can't take a chance on Everson Griffin. As much as 2 years ago I wanted him, but after I saw that stuff coming from Detroit, or coming from Dallas to Detroit, then at the end of the season, running back to Minnesota, said he should have never left, and then the whole situation with him in the house, Everson Griffin needs to worry about his mental health. Could we use all the help we can get? Yes. If I could make a difference on the defensive line or in a secondary, then put me out there. But I think that he is just not, I think he's probably done. And he needs to worry about his mental health. We have not heard anything about Everson Griffin. He was one of the top free agents 2 years ago. And now he's not even in the league. And it's sad. But one of the reasons I'm not ready to check out on this season is because of the third overall offense, is because of the third in explosive plays. We were literally 2 scores away. If Jared Goff doesn't stare TJ Hawkinson down, yes, he did. When they snapped the ball and he stared TJ down, I said, why are you continually looking at TJ? And he stared him down. Safety went over there, bloop, and picked it off. Then we are probably number 1 in explosive plays. So with that being said, to answer your question, do I think we make a move by the trade deadline? Here's the thing. What do you give up? Now, I'm going to keep it 100. T-State Cole says, I feel like Jeff Okudah will get an interception soon. He needs to. Okay, so Flying Hawaiian, we ain't talking about the head coach, bro. That's 3 days ago. Nobody's even brought up Dan Campbell today. So I don't know if you late or what's going on. No disrespect. We have not brought up Brad Holmes or Dan Campbell one time today. I don't know if that ties in. I just looked down and saw it. It says changing head coaches every 2 or 3 years and who have their own schemes want their own kinds of players, and their assistant head coaches put us in perpetual rebuild mode. Man, we've been rebuilding forever. You know the saying. You know the saying. Do you think we can sign Brandon Williams? I'm not sure. But my thing is this. I put out a poll because somebody asked me in my community tab about Brian Burns. Brian Burns will be, 25 in April or something like that? Or he doesn't turn 26 until April, one of the two, right? And I'm like, dude is a stud, man. He is a stud. But the Carolina Panthers have 4 picks heading into the 2023 draft. I already see him standing up. Take a little pressure off of Hutch. And all of a sudden our defense, because our secondary was never going to be what helped us win games. It was never going to be that. So could Brad Holmes make a move for somebody else? No, Flying Hawaii, we done. I've talked all about that. There's nothing I can say about them. Like that storyline is over. At some point, y'all got to keep a coach for more than 2 years at a time. Yeah. Mr. Dope. Right now, Dan Campbell's here. I think, honestly, the heat comes next year, potentially out year 4. Brad Holmes will do exactly what Bob Quinn did, bring in his guy, and now we're on something else. Jim, they're mixing it up with Hutch. But Brian Burns. Brian Burns, we talked about it yesterday. $16 million is what they would owe him next year. $16 million and probably a contract extension. Now, how would y'all feel if the Detroit Lions traded for Brian Burns? Me? Okay, so Knowledge says I would give up a 2024 first round pick and a 2023 second round pick for Burns. I try to maintain both first round picks for next year. AP, I like that deal, bro. I like that deal, man. That's not a bad deal. My thing is the Carolina Panthers got 4 picks for next year. They could give up CMC. They could give up Burns. I mean, look, somebody said they would, I think it was Nick, said J.C. Horn. Now, he what, second-year player? They got a receiver too, don't they? That I heard from another content creator that it was rumors coming up that they might ship him out. Man, Panthers, but you know what? Knowledge, if they're taking the long form rebuild, because they've been rebuilding since 2015, let's be real, since they parted with Cam. They could bite on that. Okay, Lions fans, let me put this up here. Would you give up a 2024 first round pick and a 2020? So this coming second, remember, we still have Stafford's first. This coming second and 2 years, the first in 2024 for Brian Burns. Nate says if you give up 24, you have none that year. Give the Rams 2023 to stay in the first round consecutive years. Okay, Nate, I can see that. DJ Moore, that's what I thought his name was, Nick. D says, do it. I give second pick 2023, not first, and 2024 for first. Burns, make the D take a pay cut next year. This guy ain't taking no pay cut, especially to come here. Come on, y'all. We got to be realistic. The brother already got 4 sacks, 7.5, 9, 9, and 4. He's in his 4th year in the league, same as TJ Hockenson. And somebody mentioned TJ Hockenson. The Lions ain't trading TJ Hockenson. I just do not believe that. They just picked up his 5th year. I don't think TJ is part of that. Romeo, we got to get rid of him. Free agency in 2024, we'll have more money in free agency. Yes. Yes. What's up, Salty? Hey, are you the dude that called in to Woodward, bro? I heard you yesterday. Says if Aiden Butchinson is bad, as Lions fans say he is, we shouldn't be traded capital for another DN. Well, he's not as bad. We already went over that, Salty. Myles Garrett has 3 sacks. Yeah, he missed a game. He was hurt or whatever. In his first year, okay, we went over it. Myles Garrett had 7 sacks. Year 1. Hey, shout out to you, bro. I heard you on there. I don't listen to them. I do not, but I listened to their show yesterday. Put it in double speed and barely got through it. So I heard you call on the other day. So we just talked about that, bro. Trayvon Walker, 1 sack, has played all the games. Aiden Hutchinson, 3. Ironically, they got sacks against the same quarterback who is statistically the quarterback to hold the ball for the longest in the National Football League. I think we need a defensive tackle more than anything else. Well, Salty, what do you mean, bro? We got Josh Pascal coming in. He's starting. He'll be playing after the bye. What you mean, bro? We got Mr. Pascal coming in. We got him coming in. What's up, D-Mac? What's going on, man? Good to see you, my brother. Nada says, so we could use money in 2024 to improve the roster, so us losing the first round pick in 2024 won't mean as much because Burns is an instant impact and can help Hutch immediately. The thing about that is, with my situation, is Brian Burns is $16 million next year, and you got to convince the brother to stay. You got to convince him to stay. Jared Goff, who is highest against the cap, does he restructure? What's up, Vision? Says, Woodward Sports are so negative, that's why I watch you. Well, it's not just that. Woodward Sports, man. Adam is like, I don't know who he's like Mike Valenti, but the version that is uncensored. And I got through yesterday and I was like, this dude, it gotta be a shtick. I think Adam has to be the nicest, cuddly guy in real life because what he puts on and the way he talks to y'all has to be a shtick. Or he's really like that. It's really like that. But that's all right because we trying to come up, man. This is something I've wanted to do since I've been on this platform. I joined with some other creators. It didn't work out. I joined with some more. It didn't work out. I joined with some more and it didn't work out. So this is what I've always wanted to do. So instead of worrying about numbers and views and all that stuff, I'm just going to start this thing. This is what I realized, and I'll keep this real brief, right? When somebody is talking Detroit, I didn't realize how much of a difference I would make. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, oh man, this guy does it. They love him. But what you don't realize is people like diversity. And when they don't have it unless you bring it, right? So I'm like, and I'm gonna keep it real. You already know what's going on, okay? What I realized about me, that while Mike might be the number one who talks Detroit as far as sub count, I am an alternative, a welcome alternative to him. And I didn't know that before I popped on the scene and started talking Detroit Lions again. See, I started talking in 2019. I got away from it. I took myself out to space, and now I'm back. And there's nothing you could do to keep me out this. Alex Anzalone needs a first-class ticket and a clipboard. Adam flip-flops on his position more than a teenager. Yeah, he act like a teenager, too. When his show. But you can tell anyway. Anyway, I could go on the whole time about that. I have no ill will toward the guy. I don't know him. I don't know anybody on the show. But I know that he feels like he's a boss. I know that. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Would I trade for Brian Burns? That's tough because they picked up the 5th-year option. We would owe him 16. And then we would have to convince him to stay. I say like this. Would I give up a first for him? I like AP's deal. I do. Because if we're better in 2024, we're picking in the middle of the first round anyway. And Brad Holmes he will finagle his way back into the first round. If it's somebody that he wants, he'll get back there. So, exactly. I'm not trading for a rental. That's exactly what Matt Patricia did with Everson Griffin. He traded for a rental 7 games when we could have got him in free agency or at least tempted to. That's a fact, Derek. But if Burns can continue to produce, I wouldn't mind giving him a $36 million for 2 years. But as far as Goff, I think he restructured his contract for the team. I agree. about Goff. I'm not surprised no one got a drop on him because he talking reckless. Well, he obviously got some support. You don't get to travel on location. If you're talking about Adam, you can go and, but like I said, the dude is smart. He came into our space. He took over. And now it's time for me to claim the space back. That's it. He got money and stuff and obviously people behind him. But, I can do that too. Not like he can, but, y'all want to hear from diversity is a good thing. So we about to do this thing. I'd rather draft a guy that we can have at least 5 years. Okay, so we're talking about a first rounder at that point, right? They need to play the young guys, call it a day, no more Alex. But I disagree, man. I disagree. I don't know why y'all so ready to give up on a season, bro. It seems like that's what we live for. We live for the offseason. Yeah, it sucks, man. I hate watching this. But come on, man. What young guys are they gonna play, D? Derek Barnes? Chris? I mean, who? We didn't draft anybody. We didn't pick up anybody. Young guys, we didn't get any. Put in Kirby Joseph. Put in Chase Lucas. If you think they can help us win. But I'm not ready. Dude, it's 1-4. The NFC, period, is wide open right now. Now, if you're talking about week 10 and we're 2-10, or week 12 and we're 2-11, or whatever the math is, then, okay, fine. Put them in. But we still got something to play for. The season is not over yet. We just got the defense. Exactly. So if you're just now joining us, we talked about the Detroit Lions being a score or two from still having the number one offense in the league. They are third with 43 explosive plays, which is 20 yards or more. The number 1 and 2 are tied at 44. We're right there. I believe what Jared Goff said. Do I think that this personnel is great? I do not. We need some defense. But as far as the offense is concerned, they know what they can do. Yeah, Kirby has been getting Ricky Bobby. Flying Hawaiian says, Anzalone was a scrub in New Orleans. Only team he could be a full starter was us. Well, there you go. He was so convinced he was gone that he had a whole letter like, hey, man, it's been real. I loved it here. I'll remember the time. And we signed him back. If CJ Henderson asking price is too low, I would pick him up. Then develop, man. We ain't got nothing to play for. Now with this defense, man, Brad not making no trades. Well, you don't know. You don't know. I mean, he could. That's one of the beauties about this thing is we don't know. If you could give up right now, if you knew how the season was going to end, and you knew that the Lions were going to go 3-14, would you still watch? I would say half of y'all would say no. At least 50% of y'all would say nope, we wouldn't. Well, there's no way we would still. If you could predict that the Lions were going to go 3-14, would you watch every single game? Plot twist, James Mitchell is better than TJ. We moving him. No, we can't say that, Nate. James Mitchell has done nothing. Nothing at all. We can't say that. We got to see the brother out on the field. I don't think TJ gets traded. It would be a blockbuster trade if it was. But if he does get traded, then that means that you believe in James Mitchell. You believe in Zane Zylstra. You believe in Brock Wright. Otherwise, that's a dumb move. Anzalone had a nice. Hey, listen, Anzalone play. He will play. I give him that. He plays. He don't play very good, but he plays. And I think he's done. Says nah, definitely not, but I really hope that this team can make a turnaround after the bye. I would still watch because I watched this go 0-16. David, that is a fact. I remember watching, but why did you watch though? I watched hoping, praying, wishing that my team would not be the first team in NFL history to go 0-16. That's the only reason I watched. When we saw Danny O run 5 yards out the back of the end zone, when we were rooting, just win a game because we don't want to be in the history books. That is the only reason I watched. And I remember the pain after it was over. Do we really need to pay 2-5 tight ends money for a fourth option? Yeah. Well, no, I can't this year. Waste it. Last couple of years watching them be bad, not this year. I wish Campbell would stop being cute with the play call, says William. Then again, all the coaches this year seem to be forgetting to keep things simple. That's what I was saying, man. You rather watch Jared Davis than Alex? Yeesh, and that's tough. That's tough. So would I trade for Brian Burns? It's a lot to go into that. Carolina's going to want some picks. We would have to give up at least 2, I believe. He gets $16 million next year, and we would have to sign him to a long-term deal. Hey, Ness. But coming out of the bye week, let's shift a little bit. Coming out of the bye week, the Lions should be getting back DeAndre Swift, who can't stay healthy, but he should be coming back. Amon-Ra should be at 100. Hopefully, DJ Chark can do something. Josh Pascal should be playing when we come back. No, so elevated. This week 1, bro. So this is just, this week is random. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my community tab, what time y'all want me to go live and try to stick to that. And like I was telling them before you got in here, we're going to, I got Troxel, a guy on my team. Well, he's not officially on yet. That's going to talk some Pistons. And I'm looking for Red Wings, Tigers, Michigan Wolverines, those type of guys. So Right now it's random. Next week, it's not. So I'm going to let y'all hopefully decide what time we go. So nope, just this week. Tomorrow is up in the air. Fridays are real tough for me, so I'm not sure I'll be live. So this might be the end. I'm betting Holmes is reading Campbell the riot act over the play calling. I'm confident that the Rams are going to end up sucking, so I would keep their first. Listen. To be real with you, I don't trust Brad Holmes with the first. Rowan, what's up, man? Parsons and Lawrence are some dogs. Yeah, it's funny because when Lawrence was up for that contract, he was a free agent or something like that. I was like, man, I really wanted him. I don't think he would have fit here, though. The Sun God will be back after the break. Absolutely. We need help at linebacker. I wouldn't mind giving up a 4th-round pick for Shaq Thompson. He's a Pro Bowler. What do you think about that grid? Knowledge, we talked about that yesterday. 4 Carolina Panthers that could be traded. And Brian Burns and Shaq Thompson was on there. A 4th? At this rate, absolutely. Absolutely. We have a 0. We have Malcolm Rodriguez at linebacker. 4 o'clock would be a good time to go live. Dave, that's not bad, bro. That's not bad. Lions need to hire new trainers because we always have a boatload of players hurt. I'm glad Dan Campbell is employing Alexander for kickoff return. He has gifted. Well, D-Mac, he is on the practice squad, man. So I don't know if he's going to be elevated for kickoff returns when we come back in week 7. I don't know. Hocking a 4th option when everyone healthy. J-Mo, Amon-Ra, Reynolds, would you trade him for the defense when the time comes? Hockenson, I don't know, y'all. He hasn't really done too much outside of that one game, but I feel like we need him. I do. Because you see what happens. You see what happens when he goes off. What's up? Paul says the Red Wings officially play tomorrow. Is it, man, y'all saying 4 o'clock for real? A 4 o'clock show? That would be fantastic. But the issue with that is, I have to record my Syndicate video, get that edited and chopped up and ready to go out. I could do that. I was hoping a wee bit earlier, but, we'll see. I'm going to put out a poll. When you draft players, says Salty, with injury history, you need a higher chance. You have a higher chance to have injured players. Well, that's what Brad Holmes is kind of doing at this point. That's what he's doing. Wings play the Canadians at 7:30. Well, that's what's up. Williams says, and again, this is a young team. It'll be interesting to see them grow up before our eyes. Yeah, but they got to win, Will. They got to win. Carolina isn't that far away. I wouldn't trade all those good young players. It depends on who you got in charge over there, Nick. D says things go deeper than just linebacker schemes, secondary play, and Charles Harris on a milk cart. Did he even play Sunday? I don't even know if he played. All I'll say, we got a couple more minutes, says, this is Knowledge, says, all I'll say about Campbell is he has to stop gambling on 4th down plays so much if we going to sign kickers, let them actually do what we signed them for. We should have kept Patterson. Yeah, we should have kept Patterson. And now he's on a team with the record better than ours. So, okay, well, we'll do that. I'll put it out, and it's only going to be for an hour. We're going to start off an hour. Like I said, the plan is to have segments. Hopefully we get some sponsors after a while. I'll have to cut for commercial break. Kind of like a combination of Locked On. Locked On is 20-minute episodes, but taped. This will be live and stuff like that. So that's been my goal since I started. If you go back and you look at this channel, some of my old videos are me sitting in front of the computer, just talking to y'all for 30 minutes. And I wanted to always have a show. Basically, always want to do this. I eventually want to get a studio and stuff like that, and have there's a podcast. Shout out to these guys, man. Pick a Side podcast. Bunch of young men sitting in the basement, one camera angle, but they do their thing, man. I love what they're doing. I love to see that. No camera changes or nothing, but they have a lot of success over there, and they're doing what they love to do, and that's what I want to do. I want to do what I love to do, hopefully get a little change for it eventually, but I've always wanted to build something, and I feel like I'm doing that now. So in this offseason, fellas, I'm going to be going hard in the paint, trying to get people to join the team and give y'all content. Because I think what I've noticed about, like I said, being on this platform is variety is good. If you don't like something I'm saying, you can go listen to Adam. If you don't like this, you can go like Adam he seems spoiled though. Like you can tell he's the boss. He runs the show. You have to agree with what he's saying. He just seems spoiled. He seems super spoiled, but like I said, I don't know the man. I don't care anything about him. I just know that y'all need an alternative, and I hope to give y'all that. I gotta say, Brad Holmes needs to take some notes from Iserman and Weaver. They know what they're doing. No, he was out, but if he played, you would notice him anyway. Hansen could probably still kick at 30 yards. Fearless, what's up, man? Will there ever be a day the Lions have a winning season? There will. There will be. There will be. But I'll say this as we wrap this thing up. We coming out on our hour, right? Expect change in the next 2 years. Because one thing you cannot deny is 3-14, 4-13. Those numbers don't sit well. They just don't, right? And no matter how much you love Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, specifically Dan Campbell, money talks, numbers talk, all of that stuff. This will be the 5th year we are trending to pick in the top 5, in the top 10. I'm going to repeat that. 5 years in the top 10. TJ Hawkinson, Jeff Okudah, Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, an unknown 3rd overall pick at this moment. Mr. Poole, somebody brought him up immediately. Somebody brought him up immediately, bro. So, we talked about Brian Burns. We talked about a ton of stuff. Will Brad Holmes make a move at the trade deadline? I say keep your first until the draft and see who's on the board. You can always draft down. Flying Hawaiian, Nick asked about him yesterday. Jeremy Chin. Okay, but what would you give up for him? I'll tell you what. This is the year that Holmes has to make a move. We got 2 first-round picks. He's got to make a move. If you haven't heard, Trinity Benson is on the Denver Broncos practice squad. He literally went full circle in 2 years. What's up, Stealth? Appreciate that, bro. Email me your mailing address, man. I got to get you a shot glass. What's up, Bean? So here's my thing. If something doesn't change, then change needs to be made. Trade Amani for William Jackson. But why would anybody want Amani, Nick, when he literally got benched last week? Ken, what's up, man? Says, have you ever thought how awesome the Lions would be if we had some of our great time plans today? Nah, I haven't. I will take a few more and then we'll wrap this thing up. I feel like Brad has to make some sort of move in the buy, just at least to show fans they are aware of the changes that need to be made. Mr. Poole, I like that. So the question that I'll leave y'all with is, do you think Brad Holmes makes a move at the trade deadline, which is in approximately a little less than 3 weeks? I think it's November 1st. Okay, so Fearless. Somebody said earlier in the show that Jameson wants to come back against Dallas. According to Dan Campbell last week, he said that out of all of those, I want to say Jerry Jacobs was the closest to returning after the bye. Like, he was the closest to return it. So for me, it's looking like Thanksgiving. It could be anywhere between now and Thanksgiving. But he can officially come back to practice. The thing with Jameson Williams, once he comes back to practice, you have 3 weeks to either put him to the active roster or put him on the IR, like season-ending IR. And I think that's what they're waiting for. That's what they waiting for. So Zay says, I personally do not. John says, sign a safety, for Christ's sake. Wait a minute, John, we did that in the offseason, bro. What about Deshaun Elliott? What about that? Trade Hawkinson and a second for Brian Burns. Okay, Kev. Okay. Burns gets 16 next year, and we got to extend him. That's the only way. Hawkinson in a second for Brian. Hey, okay. When is the second, Kev? What year is the second pick? This year, next year, what? I think Holmes may make a move, but the trade deadline is soon. I'm like 50-50. Nick says, let's say they lose the next 3, would they shut Jameson down all year? No. Nope. There's no way, bro. There's no way. Mm-mm. Nope. There's no way. Trade for Roquan Smith. There's no way. I'm going to tell you why, then we'll wrap it up. I've been saying that for the last 15 minutes. And I love this, man. We got 57 people in here. Y'all been active since the moment I went live, and I appreciate that. Here's why I don't think they do that, Nick. Okay, you drafted Jameson Williams for the future, right? So you're talking about 2020 beyond this year, right? But the way this year is going, Pascal has to make a difference. Okay, Malcolm Rodriguez, stud. Nobody else is standing out from that draft, not even Aiden, which he will be fine, by the way. We talked about it. If you missed it, rewind the show. Aiden Hutchinson will be fine. On pace to Myles Garrett, Chase Young sacks. He will be fine. He got to step it up. He'll be fine. And both the number 1 pick and the second overall pick both got sacks against the same quarterback. Aiden got 3, and Trayvon got 1. He did get an interception, though. He does have an interception. First rounder for J.C. Horn. But they just drafted J.C., bro. Hey, listen, if I suit up, you know what's going to happen to me? The same thing that happened to that dude that Devontae Adams pushed. Immediately. I'm going to be whiplash concussion, bro. So, if Jameson Williams does not set foot on the NFL, there might be a time that he's all we have to look forward to. And I don't think they keep this kid out. Not only for the kid, but for the sake of the fan base. If he's able to play, football is a violent game. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. And if you tuck him away in a little bubble, is that going to be the best for him? We didn't draft this dude to be in a bubble. And we sure didn't draft him to go 3-14 and then put him in a bubble. Like, that's not a thing, bro. And I think if Jameson Williams is set to play, if he can play, let the man play. He's itching to get out there. We're itching to see him. And we need a spark right now. Imagine what he does to the defense, even at 85%. Hey, Kevin, we could have had Stephon Gilmore. Forget that, bro. We could have had him. He was a free agent. And over what we got right now, I'll take the old man. We could have picked him. I'm not trading for Stephon Gilmore, bro. We could have picked him up. He was sitting out there just like Josh Norman, who probably unofficially retired. So if we going to make a move, it better be I'll tell you this. If we make a move, it's got to be game-changing. An immediate dog, make an immediate impact, because if not, it was Everson Griffin 2.0. Who made it? He got like 3.5 sacks while he was here. No, bro. He was sitting there for forever. D-Max says, perhaps we should employ artificial intelligence to make the picks in the draft. It's not meant to be a joke. AI can deliver a car. You know what, D-Mac? They already use that. They already use some type of artificial stat system that pops out who you should be taking. So here's what to look forward to for the next couple of weeks up until the trade deadline. Potential trade candidates for the Detroit Lions. The only person that I see, honestly, is TJ Hockenson. Swift, I don't think he's going anywhere because the offense runs through him. TJ Hockenson is the only person on this team that they would be willing to part with, potentially, that another team would want. Plus, he's going on the last year of his deal, and he don't have a deal yet. He does not have a deal yet. Also, Look forward to next week, beginning Monday. I will put the community tab out probably after the show about a daily show. We're going to have all types of Detroit. We're going to be talking about the NFL too. All that stuff's going to come in here starting Monday over on Syndicate Sports Detroit. So make sure y'all can just type in Syndicate Sports Detroit. You can subscribe to that channel. These live streams will be going there starting Monday, the 17th. My goal is to hopefully be at 1,000 by the time the season starts next year and have alternate content to the content y'all have now. Okay. So with that being said, we've been on for an hour and 5 minutes. We will be bringing the phone line segments, stuff like that. I want to continue to interact with the chat, but sometimes it messes up the flow if I have segments, but I want to keep y'all involved. So we'll answer one more. Kubo says, how long do you think Campbell gets? In my honest opinion, 4 years. I think he gets up to 4 years. He has a 6-year contract. He's not Brad Holmes' guy. I think he gets up to 4 years. I will say this. 3, 13, and 1, you put that on Matt Patricia. 4 and 13, year 2, you put that on this regime, right? Year 3, 4, 13, 5, and 12, the heat is on. And in my honest opinion, year 4, we could see Matt Patricia 2.0. Because at this point, you had 4 first-round picks. Okay? You hit on the first draft. On the second is meh right now. Okay? Year 3, in my opinion, is kind of a make or break. If they break, then year 4, look for him to be fired. And I'm sorry, y'all. Changing coaches every 4 years. Excuse me, but we did that with Jim Caldwell. So I don't want to hear it. We fired Jim Caldwell after year 4. So 4 years to me is tops. Period. If they trade Fox, I'm going to jump off the balcony and go play poker. So look for a community post. It will be on this channel. It will be on Detroit Lions Syndicate about a time. We will start to open the phone lines. Let me get in a groove a little bit, and we'll take some callers and stuff like that. I've always wanted to be, because I just tell y'all this and I'll let y'all go. Growing up, all we had was 97 won the ticket. We also had like 90, like 105 point something. We had a couple sports shows. And then 97 won the ticket came, and we got Mike Valenti. Like, that's our dude. Him and Terry Foster, who now does something with Woodward. But Mike is not a fan of the city of Detroit. He's not a fan of the Lions. Why is a dude who is a Giants fan talking about my team? Right? Why is he a dude who is a Giants fan talking about my team? Like he's a fan of my team. So from that moment on, I said, I want to be in this space. YouTube came along. I came into the space, and I've always wanted to do this. And now, starting all these channels, starting all these brands, trying to expand the brand, I said it's time. That's because you're too young, Derek, if Caldwell is your yardstick. No. I remember Wayne Fonts. I remember everybody from Wayne Fonts on. Wayne Fonts on. Beyond that, no, I don't remember, from beyond that. But I was, 9 or 10. But from Wayne Fonts on, absolutely. But Caldwell here's the thing about Caldwell. Like I said, man, we can't get off today. Here's the thing about Caldwell. Okay? Jim Caldwell, the reason that Jim Caldwell is the measuring stick is because in between Wayne Fonts and Jim Caldwell, we had Jim Schwartz. We did have Jim Schwartz, and I think Caldwell inherited his team, just like Patricia inherited Caldwell's team. We did have Jim Schwartz. I want to give Jim some love. Had us 11-5, somewhere around there, started off 5-0, and y'all remember Handshake Gate. That led up to Jim Caldwell, okay? Jim Caldwell was like the all-around coach to me. And then he has 3 winning seasons, 2 playoff appearances, and you let him go with the dumbest excuse. Our record was 9-7, and we couldn't beat the good teams. That is why he stands out, Flying. He stands out because of the words that were uttered by the redhead Bob Quinn. If you take that out, If you take the fact that he had 3 winning seasons, 2 playoff appearances, if you take that out and you take the infamous words, our record was 9-7 and we couldn't beat the good teams, then Jim Caldwell is not a thing. Oh, let's not forget, you add Matt Patricia, who never had a winning season. We never went to the playoffs, and he got fired in year 3, just like Steve Mariucci, meaning midseason. That is why the bar is Jim Caldwell, because the reason for firing him was not a valid reason, and that's why. David, the new channel is Syndicate Sports Detroit. It will be mostly Lions because I need some people to talk other sports. So I'm going to go on a mad search to find people to talk about other sports. I may start watching the Pistons again. I don't know. I do not know. Hey, Flying Hawaiian, you and me both. I have a video on this channel. Type in Gridiron Blitz, Jim Caldwell fired. You will see the video where I predicted the outcome of Matt Patricia. 100%. And we said that this guy set our team back 6 years. And we did. I'm just grateful for Sheila that she backed up her word and she fired this bum. She fired him mid-season. And that right there told me that she might be what we need. So, listen, I'm here to give y'all the content that y'all want. We got to take our city back, bro. 4-23 against team above 500, 27-5 against teams below. Hey, Nick, and all that's great, bro. You spitting facts. But guess what? Wouldn't we take that right now? Right now, we're begging for a winning record, right? We're begging for a winning record at this moment. Tell me in the comment section, would you take a 9-7? Well, it can't be 9-7. Would you take 9-8 right now? Yeah, you would. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. You wouldn't even care if we didn't make the playoffs. 9-7. You would take 9-8. You would take in a heartbeat. So you're right. He couldn't beat the good teams. Hey, Nick. But what we do after that? What we do after that? We can't beat nobody right now. We cannot beat anyone right now. The Lions we going. The Lions, this is what sticks to Lions fans, okay? 5 consecutive top 10 picks. That is a terrible stat to have. That is a terrible stat to have. The fact that we have not won 7 games since Jim Caldwell got fired, another terrible stat to have. The fact that Dan Campbell, Dan the man, MCDC himself is 4-20-1, right? 4-17-1. 4-17-1. I saw a stat yesterday. It came from Terry Foster that the Lions have the least amount of wins in the league over the past something like 2 decades or something since 2002 or something like that. Right? So anyway, we can go on forever, and that's why I love this. But look for, again, the Sports Syndicate Detroit. Make sure y'all sub. It will be more than Lions content. We'll bring in the NFL sometimes. Pistons, Red Wings, Tigers, Lions, Bears, Psych, all of that. We'll bring it in. And with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Y'all keep this stuff going. And I will see you, maybe not tomorrow because Fridays are tough, but definitely next week we'll launch the show. Watch out for the community tab. You know what I'll say, and I'll say this real quick. You know, it's 2 guys that I kind of look up to. Dwayne Johnson and Deion Sanders. Who is swag if I ain't swag? Who is swag if I ain't swag? I said, who is swag if I ain't swag? Right? Sometimes we got to believe in ourselves. We got to believe what we can do. And I'm tired of taking a back seat. I'm tired of letting other people come into my space. I'm tired of letting other people tell me what I can't do. Right? It's time, y'all. So watch what I do, how I build this thing. Who ain't the YouTube? Who ain't Detroit Sports if I ain't Detroit Sports? And with that, I'm out. I'll see y'all later.